following program may contain coarse language, suggestive dialogue, and discussion of violent imagery and sexual situations. It is intended for mature listeners who can tell the difference between facts and opinions.
Yukio's about to make a really indecent proposal on this episode of the Toonami Faithful Podcast. I am your host, Sketch, and with me I have
Streaming Steven, working the stream.
And joining us, we have a returning guest.
I'm Sam, also known as SC Universe. I write for Toonami Squad.
Yes, and we will probably be joined by Paul later when we talk about Mashle, but first up, we're talking Blue Exorcist. And I have the reins this week because Kuro will not be joining us. Honestly, maybe a good thing considering what happens in these episodes.
Yeah. Wow. Just wow.
I'm sure she has some thoughts. Yeah. Ooh, quite the homecoming for Shura, as we finally get some backstory on that lady. All the backstory. And wow, I'm not sure what I expected her history to pertain, but it sure won't that. So let's get into it. Shura's gone missing, so Mephisto asks Rin and Yukio to go to her hometown to find her. And Yukio, being Yukio, insists that he goes it alone, but Mephisto tells him he knows about that dangerous training he's been up to and wants him to go with his brother. He could chill out for a bit, enjoy the hot spring. Well, Yukio doesn't want to, but he can't exactly not follow orders, so. They arrive and find accommodations at an inn with a hot spring, and the innkeeper has a very, very wrong idea about the boys' relationship. Bless her heart. So like, oh, I don't judge folks. You boys have fun. And Rin tries to have a heart-to-heart in the bath with his brother. He says, hey, you want your big brother to scrub your back for you? Yukio absolutely refuses that. But he actually admits to his brother that he sort of confessed his feelings to Shiemi in their previous encounter. And said that she really only thinks of the both of them as friends and asks if Yukio likes her. And Yukio explains that she admires the perfect facade of a teacher that he presents himself as, rather than has any real feelings for him. At least that's what he thinks. And he also thinks to himself that it's Rin that she truly likes, and thinks he's an idiot for not being able to see it. Shura meets up with a mysterious figure who tells her she must fulfill her promise. What could that mean? The next morning, Yukio is getting pretty exasperated by the misunderstanding and has absolutely no tact in telling the innkeeper that they are exorcists and they are looking for this woman. Could she have possibly have come through here? And the innkeeper's like, oh yes, she only stayed for one night. Said she was going for a homecoming of sorts. Yukio researches Shura's history because he doesn't actually know that much about her. Something about a Baba Yaga incident around Lake Tawada, which is the area that they are. And whenever I hear Baba Yaga, of course, all I can think about is John Wick. Yukio wishes he was John Wick. Back with the mysterious figure in Shura, he explains that it's time for her to bear a child to fulfill their blood pact, or he will take away her fang. And she's like, do it. I don't care. I ain't gonna have a baby. Well, he takes offense to that and stabs her, but apparently goes easy on her. So
Apparently, that's a very normal reaction.
a very normal reaction. Very, very normal reaction. So she's sprawled out on the snowy ground, but Yukio and Rin rescue her. But Rin does sense a powerful presence when they do so. And they take Shura back to the inn. And when she awakens, she tells them that she's going to die soon due to a blood pact formed by her ancestor, Tatsuko. This was a pact made with the Hydra dragon god named Hachiro Taro to gain a fang that would become a demon sword so that she could have a sword mastery school. But Hachiro was quite taken by her beauty, so the pact requires for her to stay young forever. But she's like, I'm a human. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna grow old and die. I won't stay beautiful forever. And he says, no. You will die at the age of 30, and you will give birth to a daughter who will carry the pact and inherit your beauty. Like a Rising of the Phoenix type thing.
How would he know it would be a daughter? Because that's not how making babies work.
Well, apparently with the pact, you are guaranteed a daughter.
That is a very strong pact.
Very strong pact. A very particular pact. He likes them young. And though Shura jokes that she's still only 18 and has plenty of time left, Yukio realizes she actually only has a few years left. So she's like 27. But Rin refuses to let Shura die at a young age. Boys.
I think it was kind of sorry. I think it was kind of like said in like the first season that she's like 26.
Mm-hmm. Enough time has passed by now.
Probably.
Though, has a year passed? I mean, it was a very eventful year. They did like start a new school term, so I guess so. So trying to think of what to do, Yukio says they'll have to figure out a way to make Hajiro rescind the pact himself because Shura can't break it. And Rin senses that presence again and finds that Shura is gone from the inn. So, flashback time. Shura was raised by Hachiro since her mother was never really in the picture. It's not really made clear if she was already dead at the time or just not around. But obviously she wouldn't have been around for long. She would use her demon sword to cause trouble in town, and people thought that that was the Baba Yaga, and that's the reason why gosh, I can't remember the name of the organization. I mean, True Cross is the school, but
oh, I'm blanking on it too.
The Order?
The Illuminati?
No,
not the Illuminati.
Not the Illuminati. No. Though I should mention
it's the Order of the True Cross.
Order of the True Cross. That sounds right. Yeah. So they dispatched Shiro to deal with the Baba Yaga, and it turns out it's just this little girl with the demon sword, and he fights Hachiro and realizes that he's immortal, so that's not gonna work. But the little girl, who, by the way, at this point in time does not have a name, or not a given name. She's the next in the line of the Kirigakure, and Hachiro refers to her as Tatsuko, even though it's not her. She's the descendant of Tatsuko. Oh, by the way, her weird hair, not a choice. That's what happened when the pact was made, and Tatsuko, used to have like glossy black hair, but when she made the pact, it turned red and fiery. Neat.
Interesting
Wasn't
hair choice.
Wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that. Though Hachiro did seem to like her original hair, so. But anyway, so this little girl plants herself on Shiro and is like, I want to have babies with this guy. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're a child. And Hachiro's like, all right, bet. Come back when you're done. So he takes the girl with him, and that's when he gives her the name, Shura.
I'm so glad they did not make it creepy.
Not yet.
Just wait.
Just wait.
It's gonna get there.
Yeah, very, 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 very soon. Actually, yes, in this very next moment, because now back in the present, Hachiro's trying to manipulate Shura's mind to force her to have a child. He can't actually have the child himself. It's got to be somebody else's. I guess that's part of the deal. And realizing that all of the previous women in this family were coerced in this way, she realizes, oh, that's why they were all so submissive and went along with it. I've always wondered. But ultimately, she just feels sorry for him because he's sealed to this lake and his true love is gone, but she ain't her. She's not Tatsuko, which he doesn't like hearing. He does not like that at all. And Rin and Yukio dash in just as try to save her, and Hachiro sees this as an opportunity. Because even though Rin is clearly not human, Yukio fills the criteria.
For now.
So, Shiro's like, he's just a kid. Let's not do this. But, mind manipulation, yada yada, and Yukio and Shura are in a very compromised position.
Very.
But, yeah. But Rin is able to use his flames on Hachiro to distract him long enough for them to break out of that. So now what? Well, Yukio offers a new deal. He wants to make a pact for the Demon Sword and the regenerative ability in exchange for Shura, because he needs the power, he wants the power, give him the power, and if you agree to it, then he'll make sure that Shura has a baby. Thankfully, it was all a ruse, because at one point he's like, oh yeah, take away her, take away the part of the pact that she'll die young, and I'll make sure that she dies, and I'll make sure her descendants die, and like, I can even set up this whole system to make sure it happens. And I'm like, bro,
Sounding like a Promise
God
Neverland.
damn it, Yukio.
Yukio? Yukio? No. No. But as I said, thankfully, it was all a ruse. And he had to make it good and convincing to convince his brother, I guess. Ooh. So even though he fills Rin full of 10 holes, he doesn't use the kind of bullets that's really going to pin him down for long. So when Hachiro removes the pact from Shura and is about to give it to Yukio, then Rin gives him the stabby fire. And whew, oof. Yeah. Well, Hachiro's not too happy about that, so he starts growing big and making a ruckus, and Rin's gonna go off and fight him, and Yukio warns him about the hypnotizing eyes, and Rin succumbs to them immediately. Oh, Rin. And then, who would show up for reinforcements but Shima? Shima.
The double
Happy
crosser
you're
himself.
here? Maybe?
Like,
And Rin tries to tell him.
Did anyone want him to come in? It's like, that's like out of every single person coming in. It's like, you chose, he was like, I was nearby. Dude, I don't know, man. That guy is like shady.
Very.
Yep.
Very, very, very. Well, we know that some Illuminati business is what got Shura to show up to see Hachiro in the first place. So I wouldn't be too surprised if he's working an Illuminati angle too. That guy. Never know. Just never know with that guy. And Rin's like, all right, so Shima, you could get hypnotized by these eyes. So be careful of that. And then Rin goes off and gets hypnotized again. Thank you for this levity. It's needed. Well, Hachiro seems like he's just going to wreck up the place, but really he's agonizing and crying that he's craving death, but he cannot die. And in that moment, Shura decides to comfort him and says, let's sink to the bottom of the lake in an eternal slumber. And as Hachiro pulls Shura under the water, she resigns herself to the fate that has been given her. That was a lot.
That's a way to end an episode.
Yeah, but then the episode previous are like, we'll save you, Shura!
Yeah, that's Toonami previous for you.
I mean, I did want to know what happened next. But... yeah. Yeah. So, Sam, what do you think of these episodes of Blue Exorcist?
They're interesting. It's nice to get more background on Shura as a character since we've known her since the first season and knew basically little to nothing about her. I'm just kind of like, the motives for Yukio though are just like, what is going on? Like, it's understandable that he's kind of conflicted about knowing that he might have some powers, but the way that he's going about it is just self-destructive, and it's just kind of out of character for him.
Yeah. It really is. I mean, in that moment, I really wasn't sure. I totally think he would try to get the power for reasons. And I don't know, I kind of felt like he would like double cross him to the extent of, okay, you take the pact away from her, you gain the pact with me, but I'm not gonna, fulfill those other things. Though it does seem like whatever you agree to in these pacts, once the pact is set, it's set. Oh, he can't exactly go back on it. But yeah, I was thinking he would come up with some way that he could get the power and not force Shura to do anything.
Yeah.
But I guess it was all a ruse. Still, though, the fact that he has you wondering, it does not bode well. It does not bode well. Not at all. Steven, what are your thoughts?
Dude, like what is Yukio doing, man? That guy is like out of his mind. It's like it feels like he does want power. It feels like, unless he was like a really good storyteller, to weave that narrative of what he wanted. But man, he just
He's certainly
went at it.
creative.
Yeah, he went at it, and it was something else. I'm like, okay, at that point when I'm watching it and I'm live tweeting it, I'm like, yeah, he this is his turning point. This is his heel turn. He's gonna turn against everyone and everything. And it seems like at that point that he did want to have a kid too. And I'm like, you're a little too young, bud. Aren't you like 15? I mean, to be a dad at that age, I mean, yeah, you're mature, but you can't handle that your brother is a demon and you're thinking you're a demon. So I don't know if you can handle being a father. Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, I don't know. He's going through stuff, but still, it's something else. Aside from that, so this snake demon thing, this Orochimaru white snake demon thing, he's
White snake.
yeah,
It's Orochimaru. That's a good one.
yeah. Every snake demon that I see, it's Orochimaru. I could call him Pale Snake from the actual, song from the not the song, but from JoJo, and then from the artist, Pale Snake. But like he says he's immortal, right? And he can't die. And they figured that out early that he can't die. Why are you going to commit like a suicide pact in a lake? Like, you're not going to be sleeping forever, bud. I hate to tell you. You're not sleeping forever. You said you were immortal. Everyone says you're immortal. You're not dying. You're not sleeping forever. You're going to be wake up. The person you're dragging in, she'll be dead, but you're not going to be dead. So I don't know how you're going to figure this out, that you're just going to be down there.
Well, the Kirigakure lineage will die with Shura, considering that she's the last of her clan, I guess.
She's so obstinate about it. Nope, not having a baby. Not me.
Not me. You got Yukio's like, I'll have your baby. And he was happy, man. You could tell. He was like, he was ready for something to happen. He goes, I'm going to be a father. It's going to all come together. I'm like, you know what? If
This'll fix my life.
That'll fix his life. He would be so happy and everything. I can guarantee you, he has a kid.
Gonna have a baby that's a fourth demon.
Yeah. that kid would be like the grandson of Satan, and so it'll have powers. And it'll be like, he's like, darn it, I knew it.
Granddaughter of Satan.
Now, do they? I gotta tell you, they don't know like how genetics work in that universe or something. Like, how are you?
I'm telling you, the pact makes it so you have a daughter. They don't say nothing about sons.
No, they can't figure. Yukio and Rin can't figure out why they're twins, and one of them can't figure out why he's like half a demon. I'm like, okay, this whole universe does not understand like genetics at one point or another.
It's true. It's completely true.
Rin was like shocked that he's gonna be like be an uncle. He's like looking at like he's looking at him like, wait a minute, where's my chance?
No.
Could you imagine if this was Shima in this spot?
I mean, Shima would totally do that.
He's like, I'm in, man. This is it. Who cares about the Illuminati?
Shima's like, I hear you require a human boy. I said a human man. Close enough. I got the parts. I'm willing. Oh boy. Gosh. Yeah, this is some material I was not expecting Blue Exorcist to diverge to. But yeah. That was something. That surely was something. Man, I don't know what else to say. Well, since you're here, Sam, and we haven't spoken very much since Blue Exorcist has proceeded on to additional arcs. How you feeling about Blue Exorcist, the continuation, airing on Toonami?
It's nice. Years ago they tried to get the Kyoto Saga and they lost that bid to Hulu. And then they finally eventually aired it this year, so I mean, patience pays off, I guess. I don't know. I'm very mixed on this show. On one hand, it's still a very entertaining series, but it's also very uneven with its characters.
Mm. What's
I
been
didn't
your favorite part so far?
favorite part? It's a good question. I'm actually really enjoying this current arc so far.
Hmm.
But if I'm talking about specific moments, I actually did really enjoy the scene where Rin spit out his emotions towards Shiemi. That was
Yes,
actually a really good moment. And just seeing Shiemi
finally.
all flustered about it, it's like, oh, that's a really cute moment.
That was nice. And yet, it doesn't really feel like progress.
Nope.
I feel like they made more progress. Shoot, in the Kyoto arc,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit in the no, mostly the Kyoto arc.
yeah, mostly Kyoto. I mean, she friend zones him in the end of Kyoto, and they were still a little bit friend zoned,
Oh,
and like the Illuminati arc. But
yeah.
it feels like this arc, it's kind of like, oh, okay, you're trying to
Let's go
open
to
it
the
up a bit
dance
more.
together with Yukio as friends. Yeah, okay. Sure. They'll get there eventually. I believe it.
Eventually.
I believe in it. At least Rin acknowledges what he's feeling. She'll figure it out. Cuz she clearly likes him more than a friend. She just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know how to define it yet. All right, I guess we're going to move on to Mashle.
Yeah, there's just not really a whole lot to talk about with Blue Exorcist. It's not like this amazing series. It's a good show, but nothing past good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's been enjoyable. But it's not quite hitting for me. Like it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Feel the same way.
Did someone say Mashle?
Ah, Paul has arrived just in time for the Mashle.
As
Yes.
all my sis, I am here.
Yes. And so, in Mashle, the Dittervant's haunt begins. And it's quickly determined that the Dittervants are immune to magic. It's not really a problem for MASH. But an attack from their axe will transport you off to the stage with a significant amount of pain. Why the pain? Why is the pain necessary? It could just be you get touched by the axe and you're gone, but no. You gotta feel pain too. Sadistic. So this test is intended to judge you on what you will do in a situation where you have to retreat, because that's the point. The Dittervants are things you're supposed to run from, supposed to hide from, which is not actually that hard once you know something. And that is that the Dittervant's sight is based on sound, like a T-Rex in Jurassic Park. As MASH is running, well, like I said, the magic immunity thing's not a problem for MASH because, brute force it. So immediately he does beat up one of the Dittervants And of course, everybody in the crowd is all like, "Whoa!" But here's the thing, they're not really living creatures, they're just phantoms. So you can hurt them, but not really. And they'll just keep coming back. So that means it's time to run. And, Mash is pretty good at running when he wants to. But as he's running away from a Dettervant, he is shrunk by another student who happened to be named Max. And that allows him to hide from the Dettervant. And he forms a temporary alliance with Mash and explains that the Dettervant's sight is based on sound. And all they have to do is just be quiet and follow a Dettervant to the location of one of the balloons, because he figures that's where you'll find the balloon. And sure enough, that is the case. So as long as you follow them quietly, they're not going to detect you, and they'll take you right to where you need to go. However, there's a lot of trial and error involved and a lot of running away when they try to deal with the balloon, because they gotta pop the balloon with magic. But if you touch the balloon, it makes a very loud noise. And if you touch the bellows, it makes a very loud noise. And if you do basically anything around it, it makes a very loud noise, which sends the Datavants right after you. But after breaking the bellows, because of course Mash would break the bellows, Max uses his specialized magic to enlarge the balloon, and Mash creates wind by rapidly breakdancing. Okay. He's very creative. So I'd actually forgotten about the specialized magic, that everybody has a specialized magic. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people have a specialized magic, because there's like the 3 different kinds of magic, right? And one of them is a specialized magic. So that's coming into play here. Lance and Dot both obtain a key along with several others. We don't know how Dot did it, but he did. And Lance used his Graviole to push some air in, and bada boom, bada bing. Mash offers the key to Max, but Max tells him that he should take the key and head out because he thinks the ranking is determined by completion time. Doesn't really matter. Mash ends up being like the second to last person to get out. And Max also tells Mash that he wanted to look out for him on behalf of his senior, Rain Ames. Just want to be a good senior and be a good kohai to Rain. And after Mash leaves, Max is confronted by Carpaccio Luoyang from Orchidorm. And we don't really see what happens for a bit. Mash returns with the key and finds Dot and Finn are both bleeding. Oh, by the way, Dot did find Finn cowering at a point and declares it's up to him as the main character to step in, and Finn is like, You're bleeding. You're bleeding a lot. It's like, yes, I'll save the day. So now in the aftermath of that, he has obtained a key for himself and Finn, and he's even worse for wear, and Finn is also bleeding, and it turns out that Dot mixed the balloons and explosive magic and got quote unquote damn good results. But Mash is like, You're bleeding though. Don't worry about it. It turns out only 9 contestants are allowed to proceed, and the 9th looks to be a battered and bloodied Max, until he falls face first ahead of Carpaccio Luoyang. Ooh. And even the announcer questions why he had to hurt Max that badly, and Carpaccio is just about to step on Max when Mash intervenes. Then Carpaccio is handed a towel and a glass of water and tries to splash Mash with it right in the face, but Mash catches the water and mixes it with protein powder for his daily 3 p.m. protein shake. Got to keep on that regimen. It's like he's advertising these things. It's like the beans mix really well. It's great. And he tells Carpaccio, who keeps mentioning that everybody else is a weakling, he doesn't need weaklings, but Mash is like, I haven't met anyone stronger than myself. And then Mash proceeds to confuse himself when he thinks about what is the meaning of strength. Good job, Mash. You you almost dropped a hard line, but then you messed it up for yourself. So next up is a team battle, where each group has 3 crystals, and it seems Lance is not on the team with Finn, Dot, and Mash. He's on the team with Margaret. And the goal is to break the other team's crystals. Pretty simple. And wouldn't you know it, Mash and Dot immediately break their own crystals because they're Butterfingers. But they assure Finn that they'll protect his. Finn is relieved, but thinks they don't have any right to act smug about it after breaking their own crystals. But that relief quickly dissipates when they're transported to the next location, and he realizes this team battle has to start with him all alone. Better survive until they can find you. Don't worry, they'll break people's crystals on the way. Though I do wonder what's going to happen when they come across Lance, who's on another team. I don't think he's going to go easy on them just because they're friends. He's got a goal in mind. But he is on the team of a person who's definitely going to have a confrontation with Mash. On the other hand, you could just knock out that other third team, and that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah. That was that episode of MASH. Oh, one more thing. When they're sneaking around the Dettervants, MASH stumbles for a moment, but catches himself in the most ridiculous pose. This show's hilarious. Lots of good gags in this episode. So, Paul, what did you think of this episode of Mashle?
I feel bad for the guy that helped Mash.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, here, you can take the key. Oh, yeah, by the way, my job is to get fucked up for you. So, yeah, here I
Kinda.
am."
Kinda.
So that was fun. Not really, but that was fun.
I feel like that kind of just had to happen so that Mash would have a reason to punch the lights out of that guy.
I mean, he really doesn't need a reason to punch anybody at this point. They're all assholes, so
Yeah. Well, they're not all assholes. Max wasn't an asshole.
no,
He's
I
really
was
good.
kind of surprised by that actually. Speaking of that, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this guy and I'm like,
That was surprising, wasn't it? You
Yeah,
just
I'm
kept
like-
waiting for the heel turn.
yeah, exactly. I'm sitting here going, okay, when is he going to turn on Mashle? When is he going to turn on Mashle? When is he going to turn on Mashle? Okay, no, all right,
He didn't
Okay.
actually turn on him. That is
no.
okay. All right, show you got me with that one. You got
It's
me
like-
with that one. After
it's like-
all these other times where somebody turned on Mash,
Yeah.
you got you clever.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought there was like an alternative motive there or something. And I'm just like, oh Lord, here we go. But dude was cool and sacrificed himself because clearly that's why he wanted Mashle to get out of there because he knew it was about to happen. And Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I it's weird too because so I'm trying I catch up on all these episodes, and obviously I want to support Adult Swim. So I'm going to go to the app, right? And these episodes aren't up on the app. Episode 1 and 2 is,
Hmm.
but that's it. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you put the first 2 episodes, but you can't put the other ones up. I'm like, so here I am sitting here going,
Hmm.
did I miss something? So on top of all of that, that was weird as well. Um, back to the episode. Uh, it's weird that these people aren't like coming over to Mashle's side in the crowd because they're witnessing him do these amazing things without magic, and they're all just still like, I don't know. They feel like they're just like, I'm trying to think of the word. I want to say stupefied or something. Like,
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate word.
because they're like they don't know what to do because they're like, this is awesome, but at the same time they're like, wait, he doesn't have magic. What do I do here?
Are we the baddies? Should we not? Should we be rooting for this guy?
and oh, by the way, I like. I'm gonna call them minotaurs because that's what they basically are. By the way, I like the fact that like everybody's trying to run away, and then Mashal just punches one, and it's down on the ground like wheezing in pain, and
Yeah.
they're all like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?"
You're not allowed to do that.
Oh, you're fucking allowed to do that, all right. Doesn't mean they won't get back up, but you're more than welcome to do that. So, and I know I say this every single time, but are we really sure that he's just not like this just isn't a new magic, but it's not
Hey, I think it's some kind of magic.
it's got to be some kind of magic because they're I mean, yes, it's a funny series, so probably the whole joke of the thing is he's turning into One Punch Man and that's why he's the way he is. Not to use that reference, but it basically is what it is. Um
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
basically,
mean, go ahead.
it's one punch man goes to Hogwarts.
Yep. That's the pitch.
One Punch Man goes to Hogwarts. But you see, he doesn't have
Or
any glasses.
another pitch would be like, what if Harry Potter was just buff?
What if he was just jacked?
Would be swole.
Wait a minute, I got it. What if Harry Potter didn't have any powers and you pissed him off?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I have to dip into Ron Weasley, and we're not going to go there. Because
Even
honestly,
in
I hate
Weasley.
I hate to say this, but Mashl's more like a Weasley than a Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, maybe.
you're combining him with One Punch Man, which makes it. I don't know if that makes it worse or that makes it good.
It has better animation than the current season of One Punch Man. So
Oh,
there's that.
Oh, damn. Damn, Sam's got to go for the jugular on this one. Jesus Christ. Well, it isn't on Toonami, so please have at it. It's fair game at this point. You don't want to put it on Toonami, attack it. I'm evil like that. I'm sorry.
You know, we're not going to be laughing when it does end up on Toonami sometime next year.
Oh, it's going
Yeah.
to end up on Toonami next year. If it doesn't, I would be very surprised, especially with the relationship Viz has with Toonami. So, I don't know. I mean, side note, I'm kind of hoping that the relationship that Toonami has had in the past with Sunrise has some pull, and that other certain show that we won't talk about because we're talking about Mashle shows up. Just Side note. Do I have to spell out what show that is or no?
Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay.
It's not Gundam.
It's not Gundam.
I can't believe it's not Gundam.
Nope.
And they're certainly very colorful.
Yes.
So
Maybe the boys will be back in town someday.
better be back in town in January or so help me God.
Yeah, that's a bit ambitious.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to happen. It's probably, I hate to say this, but it's probably not even going to be dubbed in January.
It's probably not even going to be licensed by a Viz or somebody. It'll probably be like one of the major streamers that'll pick it up.
Ruin it. And ruin it.
Maybe.
Just don't do an Amazon.
Ah,
Just don't. That's what we're going to call it from now on. Just don't do an Amazon.
don't do it. They fixed that pretty fast. But the fact that they even considered trying it is worrisome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
mean-
boy.
I mean, I hope that they didn't do it. So here's the thought that I had. And this would make Amazon morons, but it's just a thought. Maybe people were asking for it so much that they did it in AI, thinking that it might do well while they were actually dubbing it. And it didn't turn out the way they planned. I could see some moron doing that, being like, you know what, let's
I
entertain
don't
this.
really think that. It's
I
just
don't
a
think these
company
things
trying.
got dubbed because of demand for dubs.
No.
I think
One thing is that a lot of the things that they dubbed either were they got one from Sentai, which already had a dub, but they didn't license the dub. You could easily just license that out for a cheap price. Just talk
Imagine
to your partners.
AI
And-
dubbing Vinland Saga, which has 2 dubs already.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, like, they're old
It makes
shows.
my head hurt.
For stuff like Pet and like Banana Fish, which never got dubs. Actually, I don't. Did Pet get a dub? I know if Sentai licensed it. I don't know if it got a dub or not.
I don't think it did.
Okay, so then Pet and Banana Fish, those never got dubs, and Banana Fish still remains only an Amazon license. So why would they even bother paying for an English dub for something that old? It's one of those things where it's like, unless you believe that there's an audience that will check it out, but it's like at this point it's way too late and it's too old. But even still, like, I either just leave it as is with just the crappy subtitles that you offer, or just pay for an actual like casting dub.
No. We
Yeah.
can't do that. We can't do that. Come on now.
Yeah,
Sam.
it's just a giant corporation just
Well,
trying to see what they can get away with.
It really
Oh,
is.
of course.
The potentially one good thing that could come out of this absolute nonsense is maybe there's the slightest chance that they see there's people who genuinely want a dub of Banana Fish and they'll consider shopping around to various recording studios to say, hey, can you do this on the cheap? Because
It'll be a
that's
South
the-
African dub.
man, some of those Amazon dubs are wild.
They're so wild in like variety of like where they go. The Gundam dub was done in LA.
Yep.
Sanda was also done in LA. Like they can do like union dubs. They can also pay for just the standard Bang Zoom dub. So I don't get why they have to go this route.
Yeah, a lot of them seem to be remote recorded. Which, hey, I love that avenue exists and it's great, but a little quality control, maybe.
I mean, there's a reason why all these voice actors and actresses are legitimately just on the off chance that it happens, making sure that their AI version of their voice, if ever used in a illegal manner, is copyrighted. I mean, we've come to that sad stage already.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
It's
legitimately, you need to
only
copyright your name. I'm sorry, copyright your voice in AI as a copyright,
yeah, it's
just
only
to
going to
make
get
sure.
worse from here. The only hope that I could really hope for is that the AI bubble finally bursts, which is going to be incredibly devastating for a lot of jobs. But it's also going to be hilarious to see all these corporations who've invested into AI just scrambling to try and find their next thing to appease shareholders.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all about appeasing the shareholders. It's the shareholders want to hear about how are you implementing AI.
yeah.
Ridiculous.
The shareholders just want money, man. They just
Yeah,
want money. And it's like they're going to get money any way they can without paying people. And so they're going to get the AI thing in because
yeah,
some idiot, they only have to pay his salary. Not saying the people are idiots, but some person they're going to pay his salary to type in a prompt to say, hey, can you voice these things and everything. So I do have questions on this AI thing because I didn't see all of it, but I seen some of it. So in the conversation around it, when looking at Twitter, X, and like whatever other social media. So my first question is this: um, Was this like a thing that you could turn on and off? Meaning that could you so Vinland Saga already had a dub. So could you turn this AI thing off and it was the Vinland dub, or did you have to like
no,
keep it
because
on?
it was something that was it's a licensing thing. So the dub, Amazon does not have the license to the dub, even though they streamed the show originally. But they didn't pay for a dub. They didn't pay for anything with it outside of just having the license to it. So what they would have to do is that they would have to pay for either the Sentai dub or the Netflix dub, and they didn't. It's obvious like they don't want to make contract deals with their partners to do anything, so they're just like, well, whatever. We're just going to do this thing. So if you turn it off, it's basically just the same Japanese version.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then the
By the
second,
way,
yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I was gonna say. By the way, I'm sorry that I started a tangent, but
No,
continue.
it's
It's
fine.
this
It
is
needs to be
very
talked about a bit
topical.
more.
Luckily for you, we've already done the recaps,
Mm.
so we can just go off at this point. Though I do feel like I should give Sam and Steven a chance to talk about Mashle.
I got nothing really to say.
It was fun.
But continue on what we were talking about, Stephen.
And then the second question that I had for this was, um, it seems like this stuff was done as a money making proposition, stuff like that, and just an easier way to get something done to put it out there. Um, so more than likely, we're going to see more and more of this stuff pop up. How Not how would they do it right, but at what point do you allow this to come in? Because with AI, we're not going to let the genie back in the bottle. This thing has been already unleashed on the earth, and I'm not trying to sound like a proponent for it or against it, but it's like
um,
you're going to have to eventually work with it or do something with it because
Mm.
all of our lives are going to be incorporated in it one way or another, even if we don't know it. And so, I do you like say that this is what you don't do with it, or what goes on there?
I think
Uh,
for me, it's like with AI, the best case uses for AI is more accessibility terms. So maybe more accessibilities with formatting and stuff like that. But I mean, like the general sense for like content, right? I am against the idea of AI being used for basic art uses, at least in terms of just like making the art entirely. I don't really have much of
mhm.
a strong feeling towards like small things like detailed backgrounds or stuff like that. I still want an actual person to work on that stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I understand the use cases for AI. But the way that corporations kind of view AI is that something I don't really care for at all, and I don't think any of us really care for. It is something that is just there for them to cut jobs and save
Mm-hmm.
money.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So for me, so I take a two-sided view on this. There's the obvious, I don't want you to just use somebody's voice without their permission and dub a whole series. If you do that, I will make your life a living hell. And I'm sure other people would do that as well. So
Thankfully,
there's
that
that side of
hasn't
it.
happened.
There's that
Yeah.
side of it. But I'm also, and again, me and Sketch are in our 40s. So I mean, we're old at this point. So we're I would say, and I'm not going to speak for Sketch, but at least for me, like I don't, I'm getting to that age where I don't want to be open to certain things. But at the moment, I'm open to seeing what AI can do in positive things, but I'm not, and maybe fun things as well. But I don't want them to take it to the point of, for example, what I'm seeing a lot of, because I'm on TikTok as well, is um, they're taking songs, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, and they're doing different versions of it. And the problem is that these versions of these other songs are in some ways better than the original song. So I don't mind if they do that for fun. I don't mind. I I actually think in some ways it's a good way for an artist to be like, "Oh, holy shit, I could have done this." And then they do that and now they make money off of it. Because it's their song anyways, they should be making money off of it. What I don't want them to do is to do that kind of thing and then throw it on Spotify and say, "Oh, I'm going to make money." Because people are idiots right now and they'll follow everything like a zombie, as I always put it, and that person will make the money, not the artist. So I kind of walk the line of, I want to, I do like the fun. I do like, I do want to see positives from AI because, again, like Steven said, it's not going to be put back in the bottle. But I don't want it to be extended to the point of where it's being misused for bad purposes, and obviously the voice acting thing, like I've talked about, and also artists. And I think that kind of qualifies for art, like Sam said. Um, some just random Joe being like, "Oh, look, this is my song now," and it's like, no, the original person that did this song, that's still their song. By the way, that's copyrighted, even though it's AI. So have fun trying to make money off of that, and then you lose it all because you're an idiot. So um, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Mm,
that's
yeah.
kind of where I'm at.
The thing about AI is a lot of these technologies existed before we started calling them AI. So
Yep.
AI has been kind of a big lump term, which is dangerous in its own way because AI is just the buzzword. But I see there's a lot of fun ways to implement generated art, generated music, and you could even use it to come up with ideas and then redo it yourself. Like a lot of the creative process is just trying to come up with what you want to do, and that's definitely a great shortcut in that respect. But the thing that makes all AI of that type just gross to me is the amount of energy and resources it's taking up to produce slop.
Mm-mm.
It's obscene.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making our microchips more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
all of this stuff, all of this learning technology, it should not be used to create entertainment. It should be used in the medical field where it can be useful to help make people's lives better. You should
Well,
not
I
be
agree.
using it to make entertainment. There's plenty of people that can make entertainment without the use of AI.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up a
I
dang pencil.
I was gonna say sketch. I have a feeling, and which is sad, and this is sad to say, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are using it in the medical field and we're just not hearing it
No, they are.
because
They are. They
it's not.
absolutely are.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's not the big thing, you
it's
know.
really all they should be using it for, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, look, I Google things all the freaking time, but it just makes my skin crawl whenever it's a like, here's your AI transcription of this information. I'm like, okay. Can't say it's not useful.
Well, that's even
Most
if
of
the
the
information
time.
that the algorithm is giving is correct.
Which sometimes and often it's not.
Nope.
You can't create something worthwhile without the human elements. You need the human elements. And why are we in a world where the humans are doing all the hard labor and the robots are making the entertainment? It's so dystopian. What world are we living in? It's insanity to me. See, I hate that. I hate that. So Coke makes their stupid ad with AI 2
Oh,
years in
that's
a
the worst.
row. And I'm like, all right, I'm not buying Coke. Not buying Coke. It limits my soft drink options. And okay, I have friends that there's no such thing as ethical consumption. It's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but I feel like there is such a thing as more ethical consumption. So when this happened with the AI dubbing, and dubbing would be maybe not the right word. This AI dubbing of shows on Amazon, I was like, okay, I think I'll unsubscribe from Amazon now. Not that that does much difference because really they make all their money through web technologies.
Mm-hmm.
That's the unfortunate truth. You think you can get away from Amazon? No, sir. Every website runs off of Amazon tech.
Yep. Even if you watch just Netflix, Netflix is running on Amazon's web servers.
Yep. And when AWS goes down, everything goes down.
Yep.
We shall be a little bit more concerned about that. But
It's
of
like
course we're not.
only like 2 to 3 tech companies in the world control pretty much everything, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it really is quite the situation. Oh boy. And all that wonderful consolidation. It's just fantastic and getting better all the time.
Yeah. It's certainly not happening with the current company that we're talking about.
No. Aren't they supposed to be getting their bids in right by
Yeah,
now? We should be hearing about that pretty soon.
probably on Monday.
Like, my gosh, I just hope whoever buys it takes the cable networks with it. Because if not,
The only
ugh.
option for that would be Paramount. And I
See,
don't even think Paramount is a great option.
so okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
if we're gonna talk about this, I was gonna ask to do this after the Mashle thing, but if we're gonna talk about this right now,
We're done talking about Mashle, I guess.
yeah, I guess I
Steven, do you
made
have
good
any
points.
thoughts on Mashle before we go on to this?
No.
No.
Okay, all right,
All right.
All right,
It
then.
was a funny episode. Hope you
Yes.
watched it.
Yep. Good.
The next one's even funnier.
Mash will return next week.
Oh, so this subject, we were gonna broach this subject and I'm glad that Curl's not here because she'd probably slap us. No offense to her, but
You got at least 20 minutes.
oh, I'm not gonna go. Well, I don't think I'll go that long.
I'll time you and we'll
First
see.
of all, I hate social media because there's like, well, this company's doing this to get it, and then this company's doing this, and this company's doing this, and I'm like, can somebody just buy this and get this over with? Because
I hate
I don't
that this
know.
all started with, they're like, we're not selling. And then they got a bunch of offers that's like, well, on the other hand.
Yeah.
And then it's all about appeasing shareholders. The shareholders are like, well, we're getting offers. Let's see what we get.
And what I don't like is two of them don't even want to buy the networks. But then I read something where I was like,
Of
so
course they don't.
so Comcast might want to buy the networks now, and I'm like, I'm confused.
No, Comcast just wants to buy the studios and the IP and the gaming stuff. They
Well,
don't want the networks because the networks are a dead weight to them.
But they were talking about something, and maybe that's just combining the studios, but like NBC
Yeah, I was just
Universal.
combining because NBC Universal is the corporation name, even if they're splitting off
Okay,
NBC.
I got you. Okay, that's what that was. Okay, that makes sense because I saw that the other day, and I'm like, okay, so now you want to buy it? Like, I'm like,
It's all getting very confusing.
Yeah.
So
Basically, there's only one company that wants everything. That's David Ellison's Paramount Skydance.
yeah,
And Netflix is putting in a bid just for the studio side. Same with Comcast. Although there are like some throw-arounds that Amazon may be interested as well.
So let me throw this out here. There are some positives if Paramount buys it,
Oh, I think
because
there's a lot of negatives.
well, there's probably negatives. to
There's
it
a
too,
lot
but
of
here's-
negatives, but TMNT Batman 2, let's go!
Well, no, but you could do a live action Batman and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes,
There
you
go.
could!
You can also do. You can this.
But I'll be
Sci-fi
real with
fan.
you. I'll be real with you. If Paramount Skydance owns Warner Brothers and the DC properties, I don't think Ninja Turtles is getting much play.
No, I think they'll still get some play because
Yeah, because I mean it's still a big merchandising juggernaut, so like why not?
But also
that money.
Netflix has deals where they're doing stuff still with Paramount, so it's like, you know, that
But
there's
Paul
that out
wants
there
that
too.
Star Trek action.
Oh, I do. I want Star Trek versus Babylon 5 finally. What the fuck? I want that. I want that so
Versus.
badly. It's yeah. You're telling me you couldn't take those two universes now and put them together? Yes, you can.
I just don't see it as a versus thing, but a crossover, yeah.
A crossover, whatever. Crossover versus whatever. But then, so I threw this out on Twitter last night, and I said, you know, only Toonami on Pluto TV has a ring to it.
Oh yeah, that is something that could happen.
Yeah, it does have a ring to it, and to be honest with you, I would not say no to that as long as they had plenty of anime to put on there. Which I would assume that if they did that, at least Viz
They
would
would
be
have
in
to
on
make
that.
they would have to make licensing deals, and then doesn't Viz already have a couple
Well,
channels?
Pluto
on there?
already has all those things. They
Because they made deals with Toei for a Sailor Moon, and is there a
One
One
Piece.
Piece
Right.
channel? Yeah.
But
Okay.
They made the
let's
deal with
be
Viz for Sailor Moon
let's be honest for a
and
second.
Naruto.
If they had a Toonami channel, are you telling me that Viz and maybe even some of the other studios, fuck Crunchyroll, would want to not put their show on there? And by the way, let's
I mean, the
put this
licenses
line,
if
are
they're
already
offering,
for
like,
Pluto.
but
Yeah.
let's put a line here for a second before
You could just
anybody sits there.
rebrand the anime channel on that
Yeah.
as Toonami.
You could, and have Toonami promos.
It's got JoJo and Hunter x Hunter and Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah. But here's where I'm at. How many times have you guys seen? Let's be honest here for a second. How many times have you seen on social media over these? Well, it's been over a decade at this point. How How many times have you seen somebody say, "I would watch Toonami, but it's on cable and it's not free"? Think about that for a second. You take that and you put it on a free channel that anybody can put on Roku, Amazon Fire, insert whatever. Guess what? Now you got something that people will watch. Now, I don't want people to sit here and think that I'm saying put every new show on Toonami because that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Now, Toonami Rewind kind of gives you the idea of put these older shows on there. Put the Sailor Moons of the world on there. Put old Toonami shows on there that you could probably license for cheap at this point. So I mean, there's some good things that could come out of this. I also I'm thinking more and more that if somebody else buys it and the TV studios stay where they are, um, Toonami's going to be fine. Because if you think about it, it's one of the only things that makes money, and they're not going to get rid of something that they're barely spending money on.
It's almost entirely run on third-party content, so if they have the
Yeah,
budget, they can keep it around.
exactly. So I don't foresee that happening. My biggest worry is that Netflix buys it because I mean Netflix obviously is not gonna buy is not gonna buy the TV networks. That's fine. And so that means that Toonami more or less is gonna be safe. But on the movie side where I'm at, I don't know what that means because they say in quotations that they're
They
gonna
say
still put
they'll put them
movies.
in theaters still.
Yeah,
But
I think for me, I look at it because they would be purchasing it for a lot. And yeah, Netflix has a lot of money, disposable income on hand, but it's like the business model makes no sense for them to just be like, oh, we're just going to put it into a small amount of theaters. Like maybe for like the art house films that are meant to be Oscar bait. But it's like for the bigger releases, they need to make that money and they
right,
cannot get more subscribers into Netflix just by putting those big titles on there. They have to make that money back.
yeah. I mean, if this is something where they are guaranteeing that these movies will not be in on their streaming service for at least 30 to 60 days, and obviously if a movie's doing really well in theaters, it's closer to the 60-day mark. I guess I'm okay with it, but I still have questions because here's another flip side to this too. And you guys don't see this, but there's a lot of retro movies that get played still. And I mean, you've seen it with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being re-released by Fathom. I mean, it did 25 million. That's crazy. That is fucking crazy.
Because it's the GOAT.
It is. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Netflix takes all of that, are you going to let theaters still play that retro content?
I mean,
Because because Disney,
maybe
what Disney
because
is here
right now Netflix is setting up like events for like the Stranger Things final season in theaters, which is a very unique proposition for them to do. I guess it adds like it's for fans, but it's also a sort of advertising tool for Netflix itself.
well, AMC kind of AMC theaters kind of caved because they want to make money. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. I mean, if they are making a lot of money off of it, more power to them. But you're not doing yourself any favors. You know what I mean? Um, I would say that what I was going to say is that, you know, what happened with Disney, for example, Disney bought Fox. We all know this story. I'm not going
Hmm.
to go into it. But the side that you guys don't know about, and I mean, I'm sure you assumed, but you didn't know, is all that retro content that was being played in theaters is locked now.
Hmm.
So now you can't play anything that's owned by Fox because Disney owns it. You can't even go to them and go, hey, I want to play insert movie without them saying no to you. You can't play it. And some of these films are not like, they're not going to make whatever. But what they do is they do like what they did in the fall here. All of a sudden, like for example, Toy Story. Now Toy Story is obviously owned by Disney, but they
Mhm.
just randomly brought it out for their anniversary. That's all they do. And it doesn't and they're charging normal prices for it. So it's
And
like,
people are going to see it.
no, people aren't going to see it. Toy Story didn't do well in theaters. When
I'm
they did it
sure
for
it
the
did
anniversary.
fine enough because they're probably thinking, well, we're not marketing it, so it's like, well, whatever.
But that's what I'm saying is on the movie side, that's what concerns me because it's like I don't want you locking it up. At least with Universal, even though they can be assholes themselves, at least they're not going to lock retro content because they have a
Mm.
ton of retro content that gets used all the time. So we'll see, but I don't know. I guess this is more of a wait and see when it comes to Toonami because I don't see. That's the thing. It's such
I
weird.
I think with where I stand is that all these options are terrible. The best solution, in my opinion, would just be like just do what you were normally going to do and just split up the company.
Yeah.
Just split it up, have Warner Brothers studio side be independent and have the Discovery side be independent, whatever. So that way, even though for the most part, all the content and IP would be locked with Warner Brothers, there's still contracts and deals that they still have with their partner networks that they still owned at the time. So stuff like Get Jiro, anything else that's being worked on that on Cartoon Network Studios and Warner Brothers Animation side that's still coming, as far as we know, to Adult Swim. So
Oh
that
yeah,
should
no, I
all
don't
be
think that'll
safe.
change. I don't think
But
that'll
that's
change.
only if a merger doesn't happen. If a merger between any of these companies happens, even something like Warner Brothers only studio side being purchased, that's going to cause a lot of cancellation. Guess what's the first thing that gets canceled every single time when one of these mergers happens? Animation. Because these executives do not care about the medium of animation. They don't give a shit about it. They think about money. Animation is the most expensive thing. You can cut that. We're saving some money.
Uh, mm, so, are we talking all of animation, or are we talking?
They're going to cut specific projects that they feel like aren't going to be
Yeah.
worthwhile. So
Well,
any
would
original
you?
projects are dead. Anything that isn't using an existing IP is dead. Even stuff that is using existing IP that isn't super popular, why would they fund it? Why would they want that?
I
It'd be
I
dead.
I don't see them doing so. Like, let's use the example of Netflix. I don't see Netflix being like because they're driven by anime a lot more now than they were in the past. I don't see them canceling any
Well,
anime.
anime itself is so cheap to produce, right? That
Yes.
all they have
Yeah.
to do is just pay for a dub. And normally, for the most part, Netflix just acquires shows. They do
Right.
not pay for the production of these shows. They just acquire them. Like you would think they paid for the production of JoJo? No, Warner Brothers paid for the production of JoJo. It's their show. They produce it. But it's Netflix paid to acquire it.
Yeah.
And Netflix, well, actually, I think Warner Brothers paid for the dub because I think that's one thing where it's like Warner Brothers paid for the dub, so that's why Viz is allowed to release the Netflix. Anyway, it's still a matter of like, yeah, I think anime projects are fine, but like, are like future original projects that were touted for both HBO Max and Toonami just canceled and are just going to Netflix now? Like, what does that all look like moving forward? You know?
Yeah, that's a little weird because it's like, for example, like Jason's position, like he was
Oh,
doing kind of both.
yeah. Because that's a
So
part of the action and anime division that they were trying to tout as like a one of like their pillars for their streaming service or whatever.
yeah, so it's like, is that does that like You know what I mean? Like, does he move with that, or does he
I mean,
stay? Does he do both? You know, it's kind of weird.
we don't know at this moment in time because we don't know what positions they're going to cut. Because I know they're going to cut a lot of high end positions.
Yeah, I don't know. I am.
It's a very scary time to be
It
working
is.
over there, and I feel for all the people beneath these idiots in high places who
I
make
mean,
these decisions.
and it's the thing that kills me too is it's like, you know, I don't think I think that we would all agree with how everything's been used, or not everything's been used. How Cartoon Network has been, I should say, abused. Actually, um, you would think that the channel would get nixed, but then you have Adult Swim, which is on the other half of it, that's actually successful for not only the network, but it's also successful for HBO Max. So it's like, how do you navigate doing those things? You know what I mean? Like, how do you? Okay, yes, it goes on TV, but now it goes to Netflix. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really
Yeah.
weird. Like, do you
I
do?
mean,
How do
like,
you how
I
do you
do think
do that?
if Netflix or NBC Universal or Paramount bought Warner Brothers, it would be, I think they would keep HBO as its own channel still, and still, like, its own service of some sort. But, like, how would new content come in? Would HBO Max
Yeah,
turn into a legacy platform where they just have content that they don't want? Would it still be its own streaming service? Would it merge with a streaming service like Peacock or HBO Max or Paramount Plus? You know, all those are just factors that we have no clue about.
I really wish, like, I don't know, we had like a crystal ball, because this is really like, it's really just weird to see all of this, because it's like, I don't think if AT&T didn't mess up this company in the first place, I don't
Yeah.
think we would have even gotten to this point.
Yeah,
And
but
I think,
the unfortunate truth is that Warner Brothers was already looking to sell back then too.
yeah,
So it was a lose-lose situation. It's like, well, and then we also there was like I think Bob Iger mentioned like years ago that he was looking into buying Warner Brothers, and then he was like, actually AT&T got involved, so we just decided to back out. And I think Disney buying Warner Brothers would have been a far worse fate, in my opinion,
yeah, it would
anyway.
have. It definitely would have, actually. Because they would have locked everything up.
Yep,
Everything would be locked. You wouldn't be able to play anything outside of Disney Plus, or when there's an
their gaming
anniversary. Like,
division, Warner Brothers Games would be shuttered. All those studios would
yep.
have massive jobs losses. It would
I don't think Disney's looking at them at all.
no,
Though
they're not.
there was something about, and I think people were just hoping that Apple would get involved, but somebody
Why
was
would Apple
saying,
want them?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, well,
It's
why would
like,
Apple
even if
want
you
that?
well, I know they have Apple TV Plus, but it's like, guys, that's a very niche service. Like, it has some good shows on there for sure, but it's a very small subscriber base. Even if they bought all those properties, it's not going to move the needle for them. It's just not. For them, it would be an overpriced purchase, and they would also have to be settled with a lot of the debt that Warner Brothers still has. It's not a good value for them.
You know, it's funny because I just keep thinking about, if AT&T hadn't sold off Crunchyroll to Sony, and it was still owned under Warner Brothers, like what that would have created here, especially because Netflix would try to rip Crunchyroll, would like throw even more money to just get Crunchyroll. Um, and think about this, like what shows Toonami would have. I mean, we would have a second season of Shenmue. Um, we would.
We would
Yeah,
still
we'd
be
have a
getting My
second
Hero
season of
Academia.
second season of Shin. Uh,
Yeah, we would still be getting My Hero Academia and Fire Force, I guess, but
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like Crunchyroll, even back then, they were very uninterested in doing business with Toonami.
yeah,
I don't think they
even
were.
when they were under the same roof.
I
Yep,
don't think they were uninterested. I think it was more. like it was something that made sense at the time because
Well, it made
they
sense at the time because their parent company told them, "Hey, get along."
And
and I'm sure
yet their
Jason
parent
was
company also played them against each other often.
yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
Except for the
So
times they're like, all right, now you make a show together so we can save money.
yeah. So I don't know.
I'm
I
very interested, depending on who buys Warner Brothers, what it will mean for Jason DeMarco.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
yeah,
Sorry, I
we
was
were
away.
we were saying sketch that it what like let's say for example
I don't think his department
Netflix.
continues.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too. I don't want to think that because I don't wish him ill because, he's a chill guy, but
You'd probably find some position for him if he
I think
wants
I
it.
honestly think that if they did away with his position, he'd go back to Adult Swim.
maybe.
I think
Yeah,
that's where he would go.
maybe.
Because
But that's why I'm
honestly, his
kind of
position got taken over by Gil, so where would he go?
Oh, I mean,
well.
there's plenty of things he could do at Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, definitely. I and here's the thing, I could still see them focusing in on anime because it has been successful for them. So I couldn't
Well, I
I
mean,
wouldn't see I
I
wouldn't see
think
them getting
we're
rid of that.
I think for me, it's just like seeing Toonami no longer getting dub premieres is kind of a telltale sign of them kind of going, well, we'll continue this anime thing, but we're not really spending a whole lot on it. We're just going to get it when it's cheap and affordable.
Well, I think it was
And
more
obviously their criteria against that to push back is like, well, we'll have our originals and that'll be our dub premieres. But it's like, well, I came to Toonami not only just because I like anime and because you guys air it, but because you guys also got a lot of dub premieres too, firsts. But I guess it really doesn't make much sense to do those anymore in a streaming world where everyone has a Netflix, Disney
Kind of.
Plus, or whatever.
well it
It's just
has helped HBO Max though because it
Sure.
premiering on Toonami and then all of a sudden it is like trending
Here's
on
a
HBO
question.
Max.
If the networks in the studios split up, what does that mean for shows that are intended to air on Adult Swim and stream on Max?
Well, that's what we were
there's
talking
they're
about. Yeah.
they're still gonna go with those because there's contracts in place where they
Yeah, the
have to do it.
contract's in place. So I think, say, Ninja Kamui
Yeah,
season
Ninja
2 and
Kamui 2 and
3.
3 will still air on Adult Swim. I think the Getjiro will still air on there. The what's that magical high school show? I forget the name of it.
Magical High School.
Oh, yeah. Super Mutant Magic
Yes, yes, Super
Academy.
Mutant Academy or whatever. That'll still air on Adult Swim, given if it's not canceled. So, projects that are still coming are still gonna come. Stuff like Rooster Fighter that's still planned to come to the network. Obviously, it'd be wild for them to just say, "Actually, we're gonna cancel that release and it's gonna go to here instead." It's like, what?
No, I don't see that
Mm,
happening.
Yeah, no, it's the
no,
deal's already set.
that's definitely. I mean, these sorts of things are gonna take at least a year to finalize anyway.
Yeah.
Years to months, maybe less,
Yeah.
depending on who
But I
buys
have to
them.
say, I look at what they've recently picked up for Toonami, and I see them immediately go into the next part of Bleach, immediately go into the next part of Blue Exorcist, the next part of One Piece, and I kind of feel like they're trying to wrap it up. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. That they're
I
trying
mean,
to finish whatever business they can. Obviously, Rooster Fighter is coming in the spring, so they're definitely going to air that. But they'll probably get the second season of Dawn to Dawn too. But what what else are they going to do next year? Will they?
that's.
So
I mean, like
so
for with something like Bleach, it's like they already acquired pretty much what TV Tokyo or Viz or whoever they made a deal with got. So it made sense for them to just
Which,
go,
by the
we're
way,
just
that
going to
third
air.
part's only a year old now.
Yeah, I mean, if they got it, it's just like, why would we sit on it? Just air it. Same thing with
No.
like Blue Exorcist. At this point, it's like Blue Exorcist is probably dirt cheap from Aniplex, so it's like,
Mhm.
we'll continue licensing it. It's not going to cost us an arm and a leg to get it. Sure.
So I love when this conversation comes up. No, I don't think Toonami's going anywhere. There's
No,
several reasons for it. I don't
Oh.
see it going anywhere anytime soon. And
Yeah, same here.
if
It's just the network believes in it still
Yeah.
because it's cheap to run. They don't
Cheap.
have to pay Dana and Tom, or not Tom, Steve, a lot of money.
No,
So they just basically have to pay for the other type of content, which is licensing and music
hmm
and the animation. But really, at this point, they've basically reused animation and graphics, and
yep.
they paid for new graphics this year, obviously. But
Well, that's so
you know,
that's what I was gonna say is like, so at the beginning of this year, and by the way, I want to do a whole full show about this episode about this. Maybe separate from the podcast or whatever, but to give like a little taste, like I don't foresee um Toonami going anywhere simply because we have number one, we have new graphics. But number two, you don't go and invest in shows like Bleach, Dragon Ball Daima. What else was there? Trying to think of everything. I mean, One Piece has always been there. Uh, Blue Exorcist now, even getting season 2 of Mashle. I mean, it looks like what we're gonna sit here and go about this, talk about this probably for years about you know, this happened back in 2025, early 2025, or this happened. But in reality, like somebody lit a fire under somebody's ass and said, okay, so are we ending Toonami or are you going to actually go get some shows? Because what are we doing here? And it happened. And it wasn't just that, you went out and got new graphics. You don't go and get new graphics for a television block if you're going to close something down. I don't see that happening. And let's take the
It's
most
true,
important.
but that was well before these negotiations.
Well, yes. So, and that's the other thing is we don't know what's going to happen to Toonami.
At the very least, I think they made a lot of choices to make sure that they had shows that would last until like 2-3 months into next year, with the concern that maybe their budget will get shut off until this stuff gets sorted out, as has been the case in the past.
True, but I think here's the thing that we always have to remember when it comes to Toonami. There's nothing else on. There's nothing else they could really do during Saturday night that people would watch. And people are tuning in actually because they're used to watching the anime on Saturday nights at this point. They were used to, people were used to watching anime sometimes during the week on Adult Swim when it was on. Like what? Yasha was on during the week.
Now they can't get anything to stick.
Yeah. And it's for me it's like
Now Primetime's literally just Family Guy and Bob's Burgers.
right, and they spent a lot of money on that too, by the way. So
Of course they did.
I don't, again, I with Adult Swim having as strong of a foundation as it does, and what they've established with Toonami, also with Toonami helping with whatever shows that they get that are premieres. um I think that says something for what this block is probably going to stay around. It is going to be interesting to see what happens depending on who buys what. I think there's less of a chance if the studios aren't bought. There's more of a chance if they are, that Toonami could be shut down. But yeah, if those studios aren't bought, I don't see Toonami going anywhere anytime soon. Just because there's nothing else they can put on there. I mean, yeah, you could put more Family Guy in that, but people
Yeah,
aren't
if
tuning in for that.
Adult Swim has to rely even more on third-party content, there's absolutely no reason to shelf Toonami.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
it's already a thing that works that's relatively cheap to fill, as opposed to even more Family Guy and Bob's Burgers.
Exactly.
Yeah, because those licenses, even under Disney, they're expensive because they value
Mhm.
those properties.
Yep.
Like they just lost King of the Hill again because they
Mhm.
probably did not want to renew their contract because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And I think, you know, by the way, it's funny to me that Disney and Hulu are advertising we're advertising a Black Friday deal. I think it was $4.99 for a month for a year, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, aren't you shutting off Hulu next year?
Yeah. Well,
So,
technically,
so
it's
what does that
merging
make sense?
into
It's gonna all become one thing. Yeah.
yeah, it's all
Yeah.
merging into Disney Plus, which
Hmm.
it's just them just trying to say to shareholders, look, we grew by this many subscribers, but you merged a platform into your own, so does that really
Mm.
count? Whatever.
Also, that $4.99 deal was only for new subscribers. Also, I'm
Well,
pretty sure it was the ad-supported tier.
Yeah.
well, you know
Which
what?
is kind of worse than last year because I got mine ad supported tier for like 99 cents.
Yeah,
For
but
like
that was
12 months.
just Hulu.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Well, you know what? They can kiss my ass, okay? Listen, I have the Disney, Hulu, HBO super bundle, okay?
Yeah, I'm not throwing an extra $10 so I can have HBO Max. I don't care.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot on HBO Max anymore that I really want to check out.
I really should use
I mean,
Hulu more than I do because
Same.
there's shows on there I should watch. I
by
swear
the
to
way,
you, the two subscriptions I use the most are Crunchyroll and YouTube.
Yep.
I use
I probably
YouTube for videos and music.
Yep. I probably use a combination of like YouTube, Crunchyroll, Amazon, and Netflix.
so I use Disney Plus because of the kids.
Of course.
By the way, if you don't have Disney Plus or you try to shut off Disney Plus, you might as well just pray for me. uh, I use Netflix a lot more
You want to
now.
watch Moana again?
Oh, you know what? Sketch. Speaking of YouTube, if I actually distract my son and I'm like, watch Moana, so I don't have to watch fucking Danny go 50 more times. So so Disney Plus is number one, I would say. Netflix I use mainly just for wrestling because Raw's on there. Um, I've been using Hulu more because I've been trying to get like Bleach off of there because I mean at least it streams on there. And then there's what else? Hulu I use. YouTube, I mean YouTube's being used in a free capacity. So I mean and
That's not
it's
what I mean.
rotting.
I pay for premium, and I tell you, it's worth every
Yep.
penny. Even
Yup.
I
though
don't pay for
it
premium.
seems overpriced, but doggone it, I use it every day.
That's the thing. Is like if you use YouTube Premium every day, like I do, like I go on YouTube every single day. It pays itself basically.
If you're going on your phone, absolutely. I mean, if you're just
Oh,
using
for
a
sure.
browser, you can use ad block and it works use it pretty well. But yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
so
browsing
I
on your
mean
phone or your tablet, you premium or nothing, baby. There's way too many ads on YouTube. It's atrocious.
HBO Max does get used, especially for Harry Potter, because again, the kids.
I
But
mean,
see Universal.
I'll check out something on HBO Max if it catches my interest, but for the most part, like what has Warner Brothers produced in the last 12 months that makes me want to
Yeah.
go to their service?
I just borrow somebody's HBO Max if there's anything I want to watch on it. Like The Righteous Gemstones. That show's fantastic. I watched that recently.
I mean, I guess I
So
want to watch Sinners, but I could also just rent that movie.
Yes, you can. or wait for it to come
So
to another streaming platform.
Yeah, and I could also wait for Angel's Egg on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray or whatever,
Ooh,
and
I
just
saw
buy
that
it.
on the big screen. That
I
was
wanted to go see
quite,
that, but I was unfortunately too busy.
quite the theatrical experience.
by the way, I have to
Packed
make
house,
fun of
by the way.
Netflix because it's like you're sitting there, everybody's asking you, "Oh, so are you going to buy Warner Brothers?" They're like, "No, no, 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 we don't need that. We're good." Then all of a sudden they just start throwing money at it. It's like, so you're good or you're not good? Like,
I always
Well,
view it as just like a interested bid, but like
Mhm.
if they are putting in money for it, like how serious are they?
I think it's
they're
more along the lines of they just don't want somebody else to buy it.
it could be. Well, I mean, there has been a rumor, and it's again, this is just a rumor. Like Netflix has like tried a little bit to put movies into theaters, and it hasn't really worked out for them. So they've been trying to figure that part out because they've been getting pressure to do it. Um, but they don't know how to do it. So the
Mhm.
rumor is another reason why they want to buy Warner Brothers is to get that machine so they can put more stuff out
That
into.
does make sense.
And here's the thing too, because if I always tell when people sit there and say like movie theaters are dying, I say to them, well, let me ask you a question. If your movie is one of the lucky few that does over $1 billion, are you going to shut down movie theaters to miss out on $1 billion?
Mm-mm.
No.
No,
So the
you're
thing
not.
is like this year was actually pretty successful for the box office. Yes, the box
Mhm.
office in terms of like numbers have gone down since the pandemic. We're never going to get another 2019 or 2018 or 2017 ever again. But the way that the box office is nowadays is like so much more interesting to see the type of films that are getting greenlit and put into theaters.
I mean, I would agree to that, but I would also, as somebody that's been in the
But
movie theater
on the other
business,
side, though, we also have a lot of corporations that are just badly using their IP and just trying to
yeah.
make a quick buck off nostalgia.
Well, but here's the thing, like I hate to say it, but people are stupid. So if you don't want them to do a live action Disney film, don't go to said Disney live action film. Because here's
Hmm.
the thing, Lilo and Stitch was one of the live action was one of the best movies of this year.
And it could have just
So
killed off the entire live action Disney movies because
and it
if that
didn't.
film would have tanked, the Snow White film tanked earlier this year, if that movie would have also tanked, they would have
It
just
would have killed
canceled
it.
everything altogether.
Yep, it would have killed it, and it would have been you wouldn't have seen anything. Um, but yeah, I mean that is a rumor that that's why Netflix really wants to do it. Because let's keep in mind, Netflix only put commercials on their service because they were bleeding money. Yes, they have a lot of subscribers, but if they don't have those commercials, they're bleeding money. They're bleeding a lot because they kept getting debt notes. Don't want to have to go into that conversation again. We could do that at a different time, but you can only borrow so many loans before somebody comes knocking at your door like a Italian mobster and goes, "Where's my money?" You know what I mean? So, um, I think they maybe want to try to do that. And I'll be honest with you, there are some movies on Netflix that would do well. I Sony is probably pressuring them for
K-pop
K-pop
Demon
Demon
Hunters.
Hunters, like you are not to put that on your service. The second movie is going into theaters, or we're gonna sue the fucking shit out of you. Even though I don't think they have any leg to stand on because they sold it to Netflix.
Mm.
Um, but
Like,
I'm
I
sure
think
they're getting
Netflix will
pressured.
do whatever they want with K-pop Demon Hunters. Like they'll do what they did this year is that it'll be on streaming and then maybe they'll put out a musical like sing-along version in theaters.
No, I truly think when it comes to that, at least I truly think
Because they also
that
plan
they
on
are.
making like a sequel to like Sony plans on making a sequel to Mitchell versus the Machines. And I think that's just going to go directly to Netflix because, again, Sony sold that to them.
Well, right. But with K-pop in particular, this I'm gonna be honest with you. Movie theaters have been waiting for the next franchise that could do very well, and I don't see Netflix being stupid enough to sit there and go, okay, we're not going to put this in theaters. No, they're going to put it in theaters. I don't know how long they would leave it in theaters, but if they're smart enough, you would leave that in the theaters for a month and then continue to extend it depending on how much business it's making. Because this is one of those movies, this is like a Star Wars type level movie in the sense that this could be it could yeah, every movie after its first week drops off, but this is a
Mhm.
movie that could drop off not substantially, but at a gradual slow pace to where movie theaters, Netflix, if Sony's still somehow involved in it, are making so much money that they're not going to take it and put it on Netflix until it's bled dry. It's the same reason why Sony is bleeding Demon Slayer dry, even though it's probably not in many theaters at this point. You know, they they know that they have these franchises that are going to do the money. So
I
we'll have to
I
wait
think
and
it's just
see.
I think it's just hard for like anybody to really create the next big thing in today's world where everyone is so risk averse. It's not going to happen again. It's not. The most that you're probably going to get is that these corporations are just going to look to anime, see what the next big thing is, and then just try to see if their bets pay off in the end. And whether or not that pays off for them in the end is a guess.
I think anime is going to be
Anime is going
it's
to
going to be more
continue to be a
popular than
very
it is.
crucial
Yeah.
part of like
Mhm.
Sony's business, Warner Brothers business, and
Well, definitely
Netflix's
Netflix
business.
is
Yeah. So
honestly Netflix. Honestly, anime and sci-fi saved Netflix. If they didn't have that stuff, they would be dead right now. That's the only thing that was really supplying them. And,
I think
that's
really like Netflix came into the ground when streaming was still a new thing, and they managed to get a lot of people to associate, oh, I can watch King of the Hill on Netflix or Breaking Bad on Netflix or whatever, right? These shows that were traditionally on cable that I could
yeah.
just stream later, and I don't have to work around a schedule for that. I can just do whatever whenever. Netflix created that model.
Yeah. Speaking of bleeding things dry, I think we've bled this dry.
Yeah, I think we went on like a massive tangent, but whatever.
It's fine. Hey,
I think this is
It
healthy to
certainly
talk about it
filled
because
time.
it does concern Toonami in a way, but we just have no clue of what's going to happen next. It's just a wait and see. Whatever happens, happens.
listen.
Mm-hmm.
All I want if Paramount buys the networks, I want a fucking Star Trek anime, damn it. I want a goddamn Star Trek anime. So Jason, if you're listening to this shit and Paramount buys, you better make a fucking Star Trek anime.
I mean, if he's employed by them, he'll probably try.
Oh my god, like dude, I mean, I don't want to make you tingle sketch. I don't want to make you tingle, but they could do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anime.
Well, that's funny, as if that hasn't already happened.
I mean, it's kind of happened, but
Oh, it happened, baby. It happened.
Hey, may I throw my
two
2
whole
cents in?
OVA episodes.
yes,
Oh,
Steven.
please,
Yes, please.
Yeah, it just exacerbate the topic even further. A few
Oh, dear God.
notes that I wanted to say. I was timing you, Paul. You did hit 49 minutes on this conversation.
It's
So,
Sam's fault. Blame it on him.
Congratulations, new
whatever.
record for you.
Yeah.
Secondly,
What do I get?
my love and attention.
You get to edit this podcast.
Fuck no.
Secondly, Paul, you did say about Toy Story coming back into the budget when they release it on September 12th. back into it of this year. The total U.S. and Canada was $6,700,000. Total international $4,700,000. So total worldwide was $11,400,000.
That's not bad.
That's not bad for a movie that has been
heavy.
released, according to the box office results, 4 times already. And then
I already know that next Toy Story movie is going to make dividends for Disney, so it really doesn't matter at the end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this summer it's gonna serve us at the drive-in, so I'm waiting for that.
And then
Also, Minions is supposed to be out too, so that'll be interesting to see.
I have 5 points to
Mario.
make on everything that you've been talking about.
Please.
Point number 1, Warner Brothers Discovery is basically the fundamental question about this future is to split or not split. The company was planning to split both of its businesses, the studio and or streaming, and with the linear television. Paramount wants to buy the whole thing. Comcast and Netflix want to stay away from it. So that's the up in the air question. What's going to happen with that? Aside from that, you do have the regulatory side of it. You have, will this deal actually go through? The Trump administration looks like it made it clear to the Ellisons that they will have a easier regulatory path, fresh off the deal from Paramount and everything with the Skydance Paramount merger and everything. So at the same time, if Netflix and Comcast would go in there, they would face scrutiny. And so then at that point, how tough would the government be? Would that dissuade WBD from the board from cutting that deal to anyone that doesn't have, the Ellison family background to that? So you have the regulatory side from there. Next,
I questioned that regulatory side because they're not buying CNN.
mhm.
That's where I'm just kind of like, what do you mean? So you mean to tell me you're happy with just having a consolidation of multiple media conglomerates owning the news and controlling the narrative around you? That's a bit concerning.
It is, but it
I
wouldn't stop them from doing it.
I still think they would be challenged in court. If
Yeah.
not here, it would be a global challenge of being like, well, we want you to still split off.
True.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I really didn't want to go into politics at all, so I wasn't going to talk about that. So, but yeah,
I'd much rather not
Steven,
talk about the current state of the world.
I hate to say it, but I have to agree with Steven on that. I mean, I wasn't going to bring that part up, but Paramount has the leg up in this kind of negotiation because they've been pretty much told that they have the green light whenever it happens.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, because they kissed Trump's ass a whole lot.
exactly. But that's all I want to say about politics.
Good.
'Cause
Let's
this isn't
move
the
on
political part.
then to the film.
Please.
Netflix is not in the theatrical film business. NBC,
Not yet.
Universal, Paramount, are them. So then what happens to the actual film studios? Warner Brothers did have a pretty good year under the leadership of all the people who were there. Netflix does, say they want to do theatrical releases, but does that mean the same sort of wide releases that WB has done, or a Netflix version where they release it for 2 days like they're doing with Stranger Things, and then, hey, you can watch this on Netflix over here? And it's like, would they do that? Would
I think I mentioned this earlier, but
Yeah.
it was like I see them doing maybe for like art house films or maybe Oscar bait movies. They do like a limited release into theaters during like the whole Oscar buzz season, right?
Mhm.
So
But for like their big franchise films, the business does not make sense to put that on streaming first, unless it's
I'm
like
raising my hand.
super.
Go ahead.
So unless it's like a super low budget movie, I just don't see it. Even though I've known Netflix spends a crap ton of money on their movies and their quality varies, but it's just, for the most part, the business model for that does not make sense to go to streaming first. Warner Brothers tried that and it did not work out for them.
Exactly. So I was raising my hand because I can kind of answer that question for you, Steven. So the typical theatrical window is 30 days. So I would assume when they are agreeing to keep putting movies in theaters, they would at least stick to the 30-day rule unless it's obviously one of their movies.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure on that, but typically the typical deal is 30 days. Um doesn't mean that that movie theaters can't keep those movies going after those 30 days cuz they sure as hell do, especially if they're doing a lot of business. But um like for example, Universal Comcast, just to make this brief, first of all, they can be assholes with their deals, but they also have control of some big franchises, right? Minions, Despicable Me, that whole universe. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, they have that whole universe.
The
Point
Super Mario movie.
they basically go, okay, so it's a 30-day window. But if that movie blows up, which Minions obviously is going to blow up, doesn't matter. You could have them dancing the whole movie and they'll still do a shitload of money
Yeah.
for these movies. But in all seriousness, those movies typically don't get even talked about being put on digital or streaming until 6 weeks out, six to
Mhm.
8 weeks out, because they're doing so well. Why would you go ahead and put it on digital when you're making that money at a shit ton at a shit ton rate, basically? Um, so, um, but Universal, if a movie doesn't do well, they usually typically will stay strict to that 30 days, and then it'll go on to digital, and then it'll probably be a fast track to streaming because they want to try to make their money back any way they can.
Mhm.
So that kind of answers, I think that kind of answers your question, but I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
And then let's see what other things wanted to say. Sports. I mean, the WBD's portfolio has MLB, has NHL deals, has basically like half of the March Madness stuff. And I think
Forget.
Paramount has the rest. It also includes like college football, French Open, and everything else. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it could make a compelling sports proposition for anyone, but that sports giant media would only rival ESPN. And so it's like things with linear TV is going weird. So it's like that future, that's like a big half of it and a big moneymaker. So we don't know what's gonna go with that.
I Yeah, because I don't remember. Is the sports side TNT Sports going with the studios, or is that going with the networks? I forget.
I think it stays with the networks.
I think, but that's not
Yeah.
really clear in any of that stuff.
No. That's the thing. Like, if you want the TNT spot, like the TNT Sports part of it, which let's be honest, it kind of went down when NBA got pulled from underneath them. Um, what like you kind of have to take the studios if you want that part, or you kind of got to take at least some of those networks if you know that's what you're trying to get as well. But then why not take all the networks? You know what I mean? So it's very weird. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like so do you want that portion too? Because if that's part of what you're
They could
trying to
always
get,
just. The thing is like they could always just make separate deals with those. Like they could always make a deal with the MLB and NHL for those types of licenses, right?
yeah. I mean, I don't see them doing I don't see them doing like what is it? Like I don't see like NHL going to like a Netflix because I don't think it's as popular as it could be. But like the college sports, yeah. Uh TBS does a lot of the MLB, so I could see that. It really depends on where these deals go because Netflix and these other streamers are trying to get themselves into it, where I think at a certain point people are going to go, okay, stop. I'm not going to buy every single one of your services just to see one game. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to, somebody eventually, one of these streamers is eventually gonna have to be like, I'm buying all the rights to insert league in order for people to be like, okay, I'm gonna buy your service for this sport. You know what I mean? I don't Netflix is just kind of trying to parse their way in, like with the NFL, for example, they're trying to parse their way into that.
Hmm.
So it's kind of, the NFL is kind of like the is it's funny because they're following um wrestling. So they've seen how well WWE has done overseas. So now you've seen the NFL do the exact same thing. Oh, we're going to have this many games outside of the United States. I mean, they started kind of doing that with the Bills, for example, because the Bills would play. This was a couple years ago. They were playing like one or two games in Canada, so
Mm.
they were kind of dipping their toes in a little bit. But then they started to really dip their toes into the international market, and now it's gotten to the point where there's even rumors that they're going to have the Super Bowl overseas, which would piss so many people off. It's not even funny. So, because I hate to tell you this, but unless you got millions of dollars, you're not going to go overseas just to see the Super Bowl. So, it's I don't know. I think there's going to be. We were talking about how AI might burst at some point, or you're hoping that it's a burst. I feel like the streaming bubble is almost ready to burst because people are getting sick and tired of having to do a cable level type of thing and buy multiple services that add up to the amount of money you are paying for cable. So,
I think we've already reached that point, that bubbling
well,
point.
we have. We're pretty much there. We're pretty much there, and it's getting worse. And I
And
think,
I think that's a reason why consolidation against all these corporations are happening, is that they
yeah,
see rising costs, risk averse executives who don't want to take chances on on new IP anymore. And it's just a matter of
no,
just how can we save money? Where can we
hmm
cut jobs? Where can we save money? Where can we like say, hell, we're growing in this area here to appease shareholders? It's it's cyclical, and it's just the faults of late stage capitalism. But that is a discussion for another time.
yes, yes. So, what else do you have for us, Steven?
No, that's about it. I was just
That's
going to
about it.
say
Yeah.
that if you guys are talking about like anime going like globally or like movies, I can guarantee you that the One Piece finale will be on in movie theaters because that's the only
Oh
way
yeah.
that that's going
Oh,
to happen with
probably.
that. And then one final thing, one final thought for me or whatever anyone else. Um, the market, like this whole thing, this whole area, we are witnessing the end game of cable TV. This is it. This is the final gasp of it,
Mm,
and it's going to change from here on out.
I think it's going to be less important, but I think it will still be around if it's still going to operate as a niche thing for
Yeah.
old people and people who just want to watch sports on live TV. Because live television still has sports, and that's what people go there for. Streaming
I mean,
services have
mhm.
some sports, but let's face it, like most streaming services don't offer that as an option. And for the most part, people just want to check out their favorite teams, and not all those teams play on those services because they're different deals. So until media consolidation gets to a point where literally all your favorite sports teams are on one or two platforms, which is not going to happen, at least not for a cheap price. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I think television, live TV, is still going to be still a part of some business, but just this isn't just going to it's just not going to die, basically.
Yeah. I would say so here's the biggest thing that I've seen, and this is the thing that's true. It's the reason why Pluto TV is popular. It's the reason why people still, which is crazy to me in this Wi-Fi age of streaming and everything, people are still using antennas to get free channels because guess
Yep.
what? They are free free. So that's why you will not totally see the NFL go on Netflix or Amazon or whatever because it's free. People are going to
Mhm.
tune in. They're still doing. I mean, oh God, I just saw what the ratings
Like
were for the three
over
games
like
that were Thanksgiving.
yeah, it was like 2
Like,
to 3 million, maybe more than that. Like
oh
that's
no,
still a
it
big
was
draw.
no. You're talking about oh my God, where was it? So I know the game, the Friday night game did on Black Friday did 25 million, but that was probably because people were working on that day. The Thursday Thanksgiving, the two Thursday ones, um, one of them did over 50 million. The
Mm.
other one did, I want to say somewhere in the 40s. Again, I saw it while we were podcasting and it disappeared on me. But like, I mean, if you're still getting ratings from live sports like that, I think it's going to be the same thing of what like is going on in the movie theater industry right now. You're going to see
Mhm.
a lot of contraction, but outside of the big outside of the big like networks, those big networks aren't going anywhere. You're not going to see the Fox go anywhere. You're not going to see the ABC of the world go anywhere. You're not going to see the CBS of the world, the NBC of the world. You're not going to see those go anywhere. You're not even going to see, like for example, like Spectrum. Spectrum has Spectrum News. You're not going to see that go anywhere probably because it's their own thing and it's free pretty much.
I mean,
Um,
maybe something happens with cable networks, but even then, I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I think it's just
Why?
going to get contracted. But see, here's the thing. It was funny because I was having this conversation with JP a while ago. Like we were talking about how like Disney was going to get rid of what Disney XP or XD and all those other things, and then all of a sudden, some cable network made a major deal, and they came back, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought you were getting rid of those channels. So at this point, I don't even know. I don't even know if cable's going anywhere. I see it contracting though. It's going to have to
Yeah,
contract at this point.
because I do see less and less reason for some of the lesser networks to kind of keep pumping money into keeping them alive. So stuff like Boomerang, I don't really see lasting longer. It's like,
They really need to consolidate channels. It's
yeah,
Yeah,
ridiculous. There should only be like 100 channels or less.
I kind of wish they would at this point eliminate whatever Cartoon Network is in the obviously their half of it, not Adult Swim's half of it, and just throw something on that you know that people are going to watch. Like I hate to say it, but if you threw like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, all those older Hanna Barbera stuff back on there, you have an audience for that.
I mean,
Yeah, it's on
those are
MeTV
already on.
Tunes.
Yeah, it's on MeTV Tunes. It's like there's
You don't even have
options
to have
for
cable to watch.
Yeah,
yeah, and I like so that's a great option because those shows are old. I don't really see an audience flocking to it for like a cable network, especially a cable network like Cartoon Network. It's not what Cartoon Network's purpose is these days. It's essentially just a vehicle just to run Teen Titans Go. Essentially,
Ah, I mean, they only air that show like 1 hour a day, and it's at 1 p.m. So I really don't think that that's really
I mean, they're still producing new episodes, so
that's true. They are still producing new episodes, and they still air. Unlike Gumball, what happened there?
it is a weird
They play
Schrodinger's
Gumball
cat.
so much on Cartoon Network, and yet they won't play the new season on Cartoon Network. It's obscene.
yeah. I
Gonna
mean,
be the same case with regular show. Just you wait.
it's weird that it's not playing on the network here in the United States, but if you look overseas, it's playing on the network. So it's
Yeah,
like,
it's because
huh?
Hulu doesn't exist over there.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
could also put it on Disney Plus over there.
That's true.
Don't give them ideas.
Well, the reality is cable Cartoon Network is a bigger deal in those other territories. Our Cartoon Network is a corpse.
Basically. It's just sad, but I mean, it's at this point, whatever.
Yeah. And even with Adult Swim losing King of the Hill and having less shows that they can run before 5 p.m., they're still not going to lose those hours.
Nope. And they used to do something interesting with those hours too. They used to have Toonami Rewind. They used to have Checkered Past. Now they don't even do that. It's just, well, we're only focusing on Fox reruns. It's like, well, I'm glad you took those hours from Cartoon Network.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, not to get off on too much of a tangent, but since we talked about the AI earlier, apparently Japanese license holders did not approve of these AI dubs at Amazon. They did not know about them. Ooh. I foresee there being some problems with that.
Potentially.
Potentially.
We'll see what happens.
We have gone far too long at this point.
Yeah.
So we're
yeah.
gonna wrap it up. But that is to say, a lot of things are in motion, and it will be at least interesting to see what happens to Adult Swim and Toonami and Cartoon Network, depending on whoever manages to buy some part of Warner Brothers. Or all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can email us at podcast@toonamifaithful.com. You can follow us on facebook.com/toonamifaithfulpodcast or on Twitter @toonamipodcast. You can listen to the podcast on just about everything, including Apple Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Podbay, Podbean, Podcast Addict, Radio.com, Spotify, and the TuneIn app. And you can find every episode of the podcast to stream online at the same place they found the encrypted clinical trials on Lazarus, soundcloud.com/Toonami Faithful Podcast. And by the way, you can also go to ToonamiFaithful.com to find all the episodes because Paul managed to get us up to date. Good job, Paul.
You're welcome.
Don't fall behind.
Oh, I didn't. I already posted this week's episode.
You mean last week's episode?
Yeah, whatever.
You can't post an episode that we are currently recording.
Or can you?
Oh, or can you? Apologize if the audio quality of this episode is not up to par because I didn't bring Craig into the chat, and that means we're gonna have to use the Twitch recording. But hey, at least we have that, and we didn't just talk for over 2 hours and nothing got recorded.
That would suck. We had a pretty good discussion.
That would suck. Picture's worth 1,000 words, or whatever.
I was gonna say we cooked in this discussion, as the kids would say.
As the kids say, because we're old here. We're old here.
Sketch, you got to stop saying that, okay? You're making me feel old.
Okay, but I saw a VTuber today claim they were 49 years old, and I was like, dang. All right, I feel young. I feel young now. Just gonna ignore those gray hairs. It's okay. It's like right at the temples, so I got the Mr. Fantastic thing going on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's distinguished. Anyway. You can get the latest news by following @ToonamiFaithful.com on Blue Sky and @Toonami News on Twitter, and read the news, views, and reviews on ToonamiFaithful.com. Sam, I noticed that about a month ago you did a nice piece on IGPX.
Yep. I would appreciate if people would check that out. I did a lot of work on that one, and I'm really proud of it. And I think it was a great way to celebrate 20 years of IGPX.
And where can they read it?
You can read it on ToonamiSquad.com.
And where can they find you?
They can find me on Blue Sky at SZ Universe.
Alrighty. Steven, tell the folks where they can find you.
Whoa, yeah, they can find me in my house, looking around right now.
I don't know if I really would want to come to your house.
I find
Not
it-
no offense.
Yeah,
The
it's a little bit too
the
cold here in
pause
Chicago.
the pause and the whoa was very Bill and Ted.
Oh, you're in the same state as me. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Ooh.
whoa.
We can meet up. No. I'm too introverted for that. Aside from that, you can find me on like every social media platform known to man under MXA Ghost. You want to follow me, you can. You don't, I don't really care. You hear me talking about Project Red and Space Chef Gavin, probably talking about Kamen Rider, probably talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Eventually my all social media will turn into Yu-Gi-Oh! Kamen Rider talk, so you probably be tired of that. But I do stream sometimes. When I do, it's mainly playing Hollow Knight. But yeah, that's where you can find me if you want to find me. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's free choice, free will. I'm not saying to follow me, but if you want to, you can.
Paul, tell the folks where they can find you.
I'm just trying to get over what Steven just said. Jesus Christ. So you can find me on X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it these days, and Blue Sky, just by searching Paul Pascrillo. And you can always email me, paulpascrillo@toonamifaithful.com as well. So that is where you can reach out to me.
Right. You can find me on Twitter at Sketch1984 and on Blue Sky, Sketch1984. Thank you all for listening, whether you are listening to the podcast after the fact or actually were tuned into our Twitch stream. Hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please be sure to share the podcast with your friends if you think they would be interested. And until next time, AI, I do not love you.
This podcast was not made by AI.
You know it wasn't, because AI actually would have recorded it.